What is your opinion on sex in young adult novels?
I didn't expect this question.
My favorite book, so we need to talk later.
Okay. Well, I mean,
You're gonna kick me out of your house now? Yes, you have to walk back to Pennsylvania.
Uh-oh, we're causing drama here. Welcome everyone, we are here, okay. Come on. Yeah! Woo! Welcome everyone, I'm Josh from Kitten Publishing, and I'm here with Megan in sunny Anaheim, California to attend Vidcon. So we thought, what a better way to spend time at a video convention than to go around and ask people about books. You've submitted questions online, and we're gonna throw some extra ones inside of there. Megan's behind the camera. Wave, Megan. And we're going to go up to random people and see what they think about books. So now we need to actually go up to random people and ask them questions about books. As you can tell, this is kind of hard given that we are very much introverts, so this is gonna be fun. How do you discover new authors?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth?
100% word of mouth, always through friends and family. Sometimes, like in iBooks, it'll recommend other authors, and every now and then I'll look at another author that way, but it's probably like once every 2 years.
Goodreads. Yeah, Goodreads. Mostly what my friends have already read, seeing what they like.
And I'll go through just the genres that I enjoy and see who the top authors are.
I go to the library usually.
I go on Amazon. Mostly my sister. Yeah,
okay.
she reads books. She's like, you might like this.
Through the Kindle, like the Goodreads, they kind of tell you what you should be reading.
well, actually, because of her, she goes to where? The library.
Subscribe to any author newsletters. Do you subscribe to any author newsletters or social media about authors?
I have on occasion.
I subscribe to, yes, I'm scared. So I have Audible and I read books. Am I saying the right answer?
Do you mostly buy books online or in bookstores?
I prefer bookstores. Sometimes I'll go to a store and I'll see a book and I'll like start reading it, and if I like it, then I'll be like, oh, I'll take this.
What would you say is too expensive for a book?
Over 30 is definitely no thank you. I usually read books around this size, so around 12 to 20 is the usual range.
$500. A good price for a book would probably be like $5, I guess. If you like really like the book, you want to get that hardcover, you know, you'd pay like $30 or something like that.
What could authors do to encourage you to post reviews for the books that you read?
Discounts or free stuff. Like if you post a review, then maybe you get a discount on the next book that comes out by that author.
Maybe at the end of a book, they could have a reminder, maybe.
Or a QR code would be really good.
QR code, yeah.
Yeah, just to scan
QR
your phone and then it'll bring you right to the review section.
Okay.
That would be perfect.
It'd be cool like if there was like a digital like sticker you could print out afterwards.
Authors had like a website, and then they had like kind of their books there where you could post a review if you wanted to, and then like ebooks if there could be like a link with the book. Where you can post a review?
If the book's really good and it really motivates you to post an opinion and put it out there, then I guess that's on you.
I don't know. I read a lot of like stupid teen books.
Hey, no books are stupid.
That's true. But I don't know, maybe they could write a little thing at the beginning or the end of the book, like, hey, if you want to talk about the book more, you can go online.
Yeah, or just like get more active on social media maybe and interact with teenagers and stuff.
When you actually go to look at a book, what grabs your attention about the book?
Something that's action-oriented.
I would read the back first, and if it has some important storylines, I look if the cover has like a cartoon figure. I'd look at it, then I read the back and see if I'm like interested in reading more.
Probably the scenery that I picture in my head.
Are there any books that you hate with a fiery passion?
I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this. The Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson.
Oh,
and
really?
I love the story, I just couldn't get into the writing.
The Great Gatsby.
Great Gatsby. Any reason?
No, I was just very adamant in 10th grade when we were reading it, and now I'm an English major, so it's really ironic.
My favorite book, so we need to talk later.
You're gonna kick me out of your house now?
Yes, you have to walk back to Pennsylvania.
A lot of books I hate with a fiery passion. Mostly just the ones you know there's no work put into it, and it's just kind of like, here.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it sells like whatever, like 100,000 copies. It's like, no, don't buy that book.
For me, not really, because you got to understand how much time and effort people put into the books.
No, nothing. Authors, you know, they express themselves in their writing, so I'm not going to be like, hey, this is terrible.
A lot of self-help books. I think a lot of them are preaching the same thing, and it's somebody's biased opinion on how you should be living your life, and who knows where they're getting that information.
Go on. Twilight.
Twilight.
It was just boring. I liked the first book, but the second book, it just dragged on.
I hate Hunger Games, the book series now, because it's just like, I liked the movies more than the books. How do you feel about Hunger Games?
It's amazing. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with you?
See, we're gonna have some friendship feud because that's how I feel about Twilight. So,
I love Twilight. I have all the books.
Uh-oh, we're causing drama here. Do you read indie books?
Yes, they are recommended, and NPR is a good source.
Not usually. No.
Any specific reason why?
No, I just don't get around to it. I don't see them as much.
Maybe?
Do you tend to pay attention to like the authors of the books that you're reading?
Not quite.
No. Have you ever had the desire to write a book?
Yeah, when I was little, I used to always try to write little tiny books, but never really worked out. I know one of my favorite YouTubers, Odd Ones Out, is starting to write a book, and that kind of like inspired me to like maybe write a book, but I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be that good at it.
So you put your mind to it, I'm sure that you could come up with something amazing.
Yes, I'm writing one right now, actually.
Oh, cool.
So
Me too. I'm writing one about
character.
Oh wow. Is there anything that would be able to help promote you to write more or faster or anything?
Programs that help writers publish their stories.
Free programs to help me with like writing mistakes and stuff would really help.
Okay.
I've had like ideas where it's like, oh, that would be really cool if someone made this into a book. And I actually started writing one of my ideas a couple years back. I didn't really finish it, but like I have wanted to write a book.
Is there anything that's stopping you?
Right now it's just time and the other like life. It gets in the way, like other things that I want to do.
Okay. Is there anything that you would like from like social media or YouTube or anything that would promote you to actually go ahead and write that book?
I think if it were things like how to overcome writer's block and how to videos on how to kind of set up a plot properly and how to pace yourself with writing the book, that would really help.
Okay.
Personally, no, but I have had friends that do write books, and it's pretty cool.
Okay.
All the time.
Do it.
Yeah, I know I want to.
Is there anything that's stopping you?
Everything. My mind.
Have you?
Too creative, and then I don't know like what to do.
Have you guys ever heard of something called Authortube or BookTube?
Yes.
Oh, are you a part of any of those communities?
I don't think so, but I have heard of them.
Have you ever heard the term of Authortube before?
No.
No, I have not. Sorry.
No. Oh, no.
Cool. So Authortube is a community on YouTube that is from authors and is authors giving advice on how to actually write books, how to publish books. Is that something that you would be interested in subscribing to?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
That is definitely something I'd be interested in subscribing to because it's like not only would it help you with writing books, it could help like with writing like essays and stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. We just like to give information because a lot of people don't know that that side of YouTube exists. Do you prefer ebooks, softcover, or hardcover?
It hurts my eyes to read on like my phone and stuff.
Same.
Yeah.
And plus, like, I only usually get books if I'm like a real fan of it, and so I like to have like the actual book, just because I feel like it's more real.
So true.
I read hardcover out of the library and ebooks.
Okay. Is there any decision-making process behind buying one or the other?
Sure, if I can get the new reads at the library that are available for a week, or the bestsellers at the library, and I don't have to pay $15, I'll do that.
Super fair.
If it's something I can't get there and I want to read and I'm on vacation, then it's Kindle.
Most of the time, softcover is what I get, but there's not a certain reason. I just do. I like the hardcovers because the soft, you bend it a lot, and then ebooks, you can't carry it around or like to school with you.
Ebooks. Because I don't have things to do with my hands, you know. So I just listen.
Okay.
Softcover and hardcover, it's just my personal opinion, but honestly, it's kind of like the same thing for me because I can still feel it. But usually ebooks, I don't really like it. I sort of like it more in front of me. So
You actually like the physical, like you to feel it while you're reading it.
Yeah, flipping the pages through and it's like instead of swiping on my tablet.
Yeah. Where do you find new books by authors that you've never heard of before?
I found actually quite a few of my favorite books on YouTube or television.
That's a good, how do you do that? I would just pay attention to social media and stuff, I guess. Just like if people are recommending books.
Okay, so basically word of mouth.
Yeah, Oprah.
Is there anywhere specific that you go to actually find new books?
Barnes & Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
Audible.com.
I don't know what the website is, but it's like this one website where people write their reviews. They rate the Goodreads. Yes, I always use
another one for independent authors and everything to
What
start
is
getting
it?
Wattpad. It's a good one
Wattpad.
for independent authors to start getting their work out there and to read some other people who might already be published.
Do you prefer reading books in first or third perspective?
First, for sure. Because you kind of sometimes feel like you're there and part of that character.
First perspective.
I prefer writing in first, but reading in third. I think when writing, it's easier to develop in first person, so when people can pull it off in third person, I'm like, wow, look at you being impressive.
I honestly enjoy both.
I like third person because you get to learn the other people's story.
I've read a couple books that are even like both. Like I'll switch from one to the other to the other.
Okay.
It's like, what first person? You ever read Stephen King's Christine?
I have not.
Well, it starts out at first person, then it's third person for the middle area, and then it's first person again.
Oh,
I
interesting.
really enjoyed that.
Third person. It just lets you see more of what's going on.
Although third person can be very omniscient and very cool, there's something about the I did this, I experienced this, that there's an immediate connection to that person saying that thing.
I prefer first, in my opinion. First. I just feel like it gives more description, like the person can just, describe it all out, how they're feeling, and yeah.
Yeah.
What hooks you to pick up a new book? Like, what actually draws you in to choose a book to buy?
I don't know, maybe a lot of colors, just like judging a book by its cover, honestly. Read the back of it, and if I actually seem interested in it, I end up buying it.
What I do is I flip to a random page and I read that page, and if it's interesting, I'll get it.
I like reading stuff like on Wattpad that has characters from shows and movies in them.
I usually see it if like a YouTuber recommends it, or sometimes I'll read the back, like a little excerpt on the back or on the inside of the page that kind of gives the overall story arc.
I will mostly read it because maybe it's one of the YouTubers' books. Like I've read both books from Children of Eden and Aletheia of Eden. Or if it's like something my friend recommends me.
I think usually it's what the front cover looks like, and then if the cover looks interesting, I'll pick it up and I'll read the synopsis on either on the inside of the jacket or on the back.
If it's like of a good author I know, then it probably does motivate me to read about it. Maybe look at the back side of it, see what it's about.
Well, when I go to Barnes & Noble, I'm always looking through that teen fiction section, even though I'm like literally 18, but whatever. So I'm like scrolling through, and it usually has to have like an edgy topic with a lot of drama.
Yeah. I always like something new and fresh, something I've never really seen before. That's usually what ties me in.
Okay. Is it like the back of the book or the cover of the first few pages?
The back.
Yeah. Or even just things I've heard about certain books that I'm like, ooh, that sounds interesting.
What makes you fall in love with a book?
Characters and story development. They have to have depth. They can't just be a straightforward, okay, so this is their idea, this is how they're gonna get there, and the plot has to have some sort of twist.
The cover. I judge all my books by their covers. So.
Covers are pretty important.
Yeah. No. I don't know, good story. Yeah. If it's engaging and stuff, if it catches me in the first 15 minutes, then... And that's about 2 sentences for me, so...
What kind of story would you like to read that you haven't read yet, or that you haven't seen actually written yet?
I'd actually like to read more about teenage adventurers that take on nature and survive and do it safely.
Okay. So kind of like a survival story.
Right. Cool.
Maybe something that incorporates video games and also real life, because most of the video game stories I read just have video game characters, so maybe if it went back and forth, that would be probably interesting.
Probably like more that include real life people and explaining like real life situations, but having like a comedy thing to it.
If you could ship any characters, who would it be?
Oh, geez. Next.
Oh, my major ship is Henny, Harry and Ginny. That's my favorite.
I'll retweet that. I don't want to ruin the developed plots by shipping people who aren't actually together.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay.
Come on, we gotta hear it.
Okay. I'd like to say Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger. It's the main ship. I mean, people might hate me because people are probably like still about the Harry Potter and Hermione Granger thing, but it's all Ron and Hermione. Just like to say that. What would you like to say?
I like Perkabeth from Percy Jackson series. Percy and Annabeth.
Okay. What's your favorite genre and why?
Lately, I've been into, I don't even know what the genre would be. It would be kind of like true crime with like an element of mystery. And the reason why is because there's always these really crazy twists and turns that keep me interested in reading.
That's hard. Fantasy, I guess. Yeah, fantasy. Because
it's magical being in a different world for a little bit.
Mystery, because I like trying to figure out who did it and why it happened.
I like realistic fiction because it's sort of like fantasy, but more modern, and you can still twist it to how you want it to be.
Fantasy. And mostly because I just like it.
I like adventure books. They give you the sense that you're in the book most of the time.
Fantasy, more fantasy sci-fi type stuff.
Any reason?
I don't know, it's more explorative.
Nonfiction. I like just hearing people's real stories and how they can be very dramatic still.
Probably fiction because, well, I mean, I started off like reading Harry Potter along with her, which is like my favorite book series of all time.
Well, I like either fantasy or teen fiction.
That's hard. I'd have to say adventure because who doesn't love a good adventure novel?
Yeah.
I like sci-fi.
Sci-fi?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything specifically about it?
The creatures and stuff, like the people behind the creatures, like their personality and stuff like that.
Why do you enjoy reading your favorite genre, and what is it?
I haven't read since like elementary school.
Okay.
Like honestly.
My favorite genre is kind of dystopian, and the reason I like it is because it's more save the world-ish.
Mine would be fantasy because it brings you into a whole nother world where you can imagine everything happening.
I would say sci-fi just because I was kind of born into it because my name is Kirk, so I kind of got, I kind of got inducted into the genre.
I think my favorite genre would probably be mystery thrillers.
Okay.
Because I love like problem solving, and so it's really cool seeing like the characters go through that too.
Favorite genre is fiction, and it's just because it takes me somewhere outside the reality.
I just like the drama.
Same. The tea, the drama. That's the best.
Do you have any bookish pet peeves? So like examples of this would be like love triangles or like the main characters the chosen one.
Them not being designed for the Kindle. They put illustrations in the book that are key to understanding the plot or the story or what's going on, and you can't see them on the Kindle.
Probably just when there's always a happy ending because I feel like it doesn't relate to real life.
Exactly what she said, because not everything ends in a happy ending, so it's not that realistic.
I'd say the main characters are the chosen one.
Yeah.
Like, because they're like the main people of the book.
What's your opinion on having something like a book rating system or like a trigger warning thing that it's like in the front of a book that gives you an idea of what you can expect inside of the book?
That is very, yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
I think as long as it doesn't spoil the book, it's good.
Okay.
I wish there was something like some sort of like rating almost, like there is for movies.
Like for movies?
Yeah.
I mean, let's say I'm just going to use like drugs or something. Let's say if somebody's dealt with that in the past and there isn't a warning and there is that and it just like triggers them. I mean, everybody thinks that's a funny word now, but like it just makes them have like reoccurring thoughts, I guess. So that's why there should be a content warning, in my opinion.
There should be, because I read this one book about a 9-year-old murdering a baby, and it was like graphic. There was a lot of stuff in it, and I loved it, but I wish it had a warning.
What's your opinion on sex in young adult novels?
I didn't expect this question.
How young?
Young adult, as I would say, probably like 13 to 18.
I'm not opposed to it. I think it's healthy and interesting for people to read it because in this day and age with lack of parenting, sometimes there needs to be a voice of reason. So occasionally it can be done in a tasteful way to where someone can learn something out of it. So I'm not opposed to it.
I don't read a lot of anything with that in it. Okay. I just don't like it.
It makes me uncomfortable if I'm not expecting it, like especially if it's just like forced into a book, not appreciative.
Well, okay. Depends on how young the adults are.
I'd say young adult is generally, I would say like 13 to 18 as an age range.
As long as it's not super graphic or anything, I don't think it's that horrible. Okay. Just like over there, they did something. And then leave it at that.
Okay.
Nothing.
I think it would be better for like 15 and above because most of the time 13-year-olds aren't as mature as people that are 15 or 16.
Okay.
Sometimes it drives the story further, sometimes it's unnecessary.
Okay. What is your opinion on sex in young adult novels?
Okay. Well, I mean, how do we? Okay. I mean, if it says like young adult or young adult and like it says content or whatever, it's going to be in there. So you just have to like think of it like, oh, it's a part of the story. Like this is a part of it. It's not like just.
I'm okay with it as long as it isn't like too out there, you know?
Too graphic.
Yeah, too graphic. I mean, you know, you never know.
Okay, that was it here at VidCon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully some of those responses can be useful. You can figure out how to write your books better, what people are interested in, use that to expand your platform. We had a great time. There were some really great people here. Their responses were amazing. Please subscribe, leave a like on this video, and this is Josh signing out.